Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Cinema Smoketography. I'm your friendly neighborhood hookahologist. Join me as always is
the producer man, Isaac. What's up, everybody?
Alright, so we're on episode 6, week 5 of WandaVision. And this one is jumping into Malcolm in the Middle in the late 90s, early 2000s of sitcoms, and it's actually pretty good. We're getting better. You know what comes next? You know what comes next? The Case of the Mondays, am I right? I can't wait. It's going to be so great.
Oh, man. I'm going to be hearing about this the entire week.
Yes, I'm going to just text you. Case of the Mondays.
It's the Case of the Mondays.
Am I right? Ever since I saw that.
I really hope it's not that episode, just so you can be mad.
No, dude. No, I would hate it. So, just like we've been doing in the past couple weeks, we're going to break down the episode pretty much scene by scene, and then we're going to talk about it. Obviously, we get the real cool intro of it was just like the Malcolm in the Middle intro.
Yeah, it's pretty much like the Malcolm in the Middle intro.
Yeah, and you have everything like kind of going on. Pietro plays himself. Wanda, Vision, Agnes is in it now. So Agnes is going to start playing a bigger role, I think, after this episode.
Yeah.
And then we get everything kind of going on in the household. We even have like how Malcolm would talk to the camera, but it's not just, Billy, it's Billy and Tommy.
Yeah.
And they have the fun little interaction like, what are you supposed to be? He's like, where's your costume? I have a costume. I'm the cool twin. What does that make me? Dorkosaurus Rex.
Is that even a real dinosaur?
Could be. And then Wanda comes down in her comic book accurate clothing. Thank goodness, because she looks really good in this.
Yes, she looks awesome.
It's amazing. And then Vision comes down the stairs and he makes a little quick jab because he knows that everything is changing around him. There are no other clothes in my closet, but you're so incorrigible.
Yep, and apparently Wanda has a fetish for Mexican wrestlers.
Chile con carne?
Chile con carne.
Right, so we have everything kind of going on in universe. Pietro wakes up and like hangs out with the kids, and he pretends like he's snoring because he knows more than he's leading on.
Honestly, they took a whole different approach to what I thought they were going to do with Pietro.
Right? Like, this whole thing is just him kind of quizzing Wanda. Like, Wanda's trying to trip him up, and he's, like, just negating every kind of question.
Yeah, especially because, like, the way they ended it, basically a big-ass cliffhanger from episode 5.
Yeah.
And then you start episode 6, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, you're crushing on your couch. Like it's no big deal.
Right? So we go into this. He goes into... Pietro goes and takes... The other one's Tommy, right? Billy's the one who played Wiccan. Yeah. So Billy to go get a Quicksilver costume, and he's now in his original costume, and it looks like how we would try to do that on a budget.
Yeah, for like a $5 budget.
Yeah, like ball on a budget
Basically,
costume.
It's kind of like how Vision looks in this episode.
Yeah, like he did it himself, and you can tell. Like I'm a cosplay Vision now, just like this, and this opens up all the possibilities for your cosplay. And this is how a Comic-Con used to be, right before we get to like the super decked out cosplay costumes.
Yep, this is pretty much accurate.
Right, and then we have that little interaction. Then we go outside of the hex, where Monica, Darcy, and Wu are all talking to Hayward about what just happened. Like, oh, she's a threat. They're making her seem more like a terrorist than actually the real villain of what's going on. But Hayward has a secret agenda going on.
And what's a secret agenda? We don't know just yet. We just know that something's going down, and it's going to be happening real soon.
What's crazy is we're getting hints of what he's actually planning, because when he's talking with Monica in episode 4, he's like, oh, we have drone technology, we're going into space with all this stuff, with nanotech and everything. And they're using Vision's corpse that we seen in the last episode, and we're getting ideas of what he's using Vision's body for weapons. And he didn't want to be used as a weapon when he died. Yeah. As we jump back into universe, you see everyone kind of... Vision is playing off like he's going on patrol with the other husbands. Right? When we find out later that he's not, because he's going on his own little investigation of Westview. So we also see that, Pietro is just being like a stand-in father, and he even says like when they're saying that he's a vampire because Tommy's scared of him, and then Billy has like the similar powers to Wanda, right? So he has some kind of telepathy and kind of reads into Pietro a little bit.
Yeah.
He knows something's not right, and they're even making comments like, "Yeah, mom and dad have been not arguing, but they've been different ever since he's come by." So then we see, Quicksilver doing Quicksilver things and just creating havoc, stealing candy, breaking pumpkins, hitting everyone with silly string. But Herb is now describing all these things right before they happen.
Yeah.
And you can see it that everyone's just frozen when it happens.
Yeah, like they're ready for their scene.
Exactly. And there's a couple quick edits when Vision's going to the extra part of town, right, where everyone's just stuck there with a single tear. And there was an editing trick, and Vision can see it, where there's two clips. This is the dividing line. You're doing one action, and I'm doing another, and you can see it right then and there.
Yeah, like it was purposely left there.
It was purposely left there, yeah, because Wanda doesn't have control over everything, right? So there are parts of town where
she thinks she does because she's slipping.
Exactly.
Hard.
Because she's using her powers more. Like, she's being distracted with other things.
Yeah.
Right? So she's doing all this. We see a lot more kids all of a sudden, like where all these kids come from.
Yeah.
And Pietro makes comments like, "Where'd you get all these kids?" Like,
yeah, where are they hiding at?
Yeah.
Like, you just keep them somewhere safe for right now until you're ready to let them out.
And it's funny that they used a Halloween episode to do it, where spirits rise from the dead anyways. And we see the Night of the Living Dead playing in the projector at the end of the episode. And then the cinema's playing the Parent Trap and The Incredibles, a family of superheroes like like WandaVision, and you have the Parent Trap where they're trapping Vision to be a parent.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense.
Man, the thing about seeing Pietro though is like, especially because this is the Fox Pietro or Peter.
Yeah.
Is that he's moving around in super speed, but I wish they could have done the whole at least one slow motion scene.
I think they will.
You think so?
I think they will. Like, they can't just not use Evan Peters and not do something like that. Because we see towards some of the other promos that Wanda and Vision are going to defend their home from whatever's happening, and it could be that they enlist Peter to do that, and they have a scene like that.
Alright, I'm waiting for it. I hope they do. I'll be disappointed if they don't. But
I'd be kind of disappointed too, but at the same time, like maybe like we were saying, like this whole episode, like Peter has like something, like he's not from here, but he has enough awareness of what's going on.
I think he has his own agenda too, because the way he was acting, questioning Wanda on certain things, it was like, okay, how do you know all this stuff? First of all,
yeah,
like,
but
who filled you in on all this?
But then again, like I said, it's public knowledge of Vision's dying. They don't know how he died. They don't know. It could be a member of SWORD, or it goes back to Mephisto, because we know something unnatural is happening. Because even in the Bewitched episode, we see a couple of clips of, I wouldn't say Nightmare, but I forgot what other supervillain was in there, and his remains were in the house. Right? So it could play a part, and everyone's saying Mephisto, like Mephisto is the devil. Like, he knows what happened in his own little world. So, and they address how Peter looks different. He's like, "Why do you look different?"
And then they talk about, where's your accent? And then Peter's
Where's
like,
yours?
Where's yours?
Exactly.
And they finally address the elephant in the room here.
Yeah.
Where the hell's her accent? And why is it only when she's on the TV that she sounds American?
Well, when she was on the run, they could have just binge watched sitcoms.
Pretty much, too.
So there's a lot of stuff that could have happened there.
Got so used to doing it, basically.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot to it, and then they even said, like, at the end where Vision has now released Agatha, it's like, "Oh, Wanda won't let us leave. We won't even think of it." Right? And then she goes off on her business. Vision is now, his last words were, "Help everyone inside," and he's falling apart. Right? So Wanda, Billy senses what's going on, so she expands the hex, because you can't go past Ellis Avenue.
Yeah.
Right? If you go past Ellis Avenue, that's where the hex kind of ends.
Well, that's no longer a problem now.
No, yeah, exactly. And then Wanda shifts everything after Darcy figuring out what's going on. Monica has her astronaut friend coming in, and who knows what that's gonna be. We're gonna get Jim Halpert as Reed Richards.
Right.
Dude, I wish I wanted to happen.
Everyone wants it to happen.
He'd be perfect for it. So Jim and Pam come back. Jim and Pam come back. Life goals. So that's now happened, and Hayward got away from the hex. So did Monica, and they even mentioned that Monica can't really go back in there because her genes are being manipulated.
Right, and I think that's one step closer for her to get her powers.
Yeah, she's gonna end up becoming Photon, But it could be that instead of having her powers come like that, she could be a mutant too, because we now know the X gene is in the MCU.
Yeah, but they're not calling them mutants yet, though.
No, and you know what? I don't think it would be a problem if she became a mutant.
Yeah, but didn't they say that in the comic books, right? That one of the comic books that they changed it up to where Wanda's not actually a mutant.
I think it's the same one where she's not the daughter of Magneto.
So they could pull that approach. I mean, it could work.
Could work, but yeah, at the same time, like that's why they called him enhanced in Age of Ultron because they couldn't use mutant.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that's why they got rid of him, and they killed him off in Age of Ultron because they couldn't use mutants and they only had license to Quicksilver for one movie because that was around the same time not First Class but Days of Future Past came in.
Yeah.
And how popular he was getting, so they had to keep using him, and it would have been too confusing to have two different Quicksilvers.
Yeah,
I guess like it makes sense, but we don't know. And then that's how the episode really ends. Like Vision, now the whole sword camp got turned into a carnival.
Yeah. So
one mind is like having the invisible wall of like they're trapped now.
So basically, yeah, I'm pretty sure that carnival is going to be coming into play the next episode, I think.
Yeah. So Vision's gonna wake up there, and then he's gonna have new memories now.
It should be interesting to see how it goes because she expanded so far out.
Yeah, and everyone in Westview, like nobody knows who's there. Anyone outside of Westview, like they don't know if they exist, and that's where they hit home at episode 4. It's not just a missing person; it's an entire missing town, right? And why is Jimmy Woo looking at a someone in witness protection? I want to know who that guy is.
Right.
That we still don't know that answer. I don't think we ever will either.
You don't think so?
Maybe they'll just have a sideline about it, but I think it was just a reason to get him there.
It's a possibility.
So we don't know what's going on. Scott Lang's there. I'm just kidding. Scott Lang, you're there. Yay! So it's going to be interesting to kind of see what's going to happen next.
Yeah. I feel like there's so many different possibilities of what's going down.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff not being talked about yet, and it's all just up to speculation. In every episode, we're getting our questions answered in different ways.
Yes and no at the same. Like episode 5 was pretty dense in a sense of there's a lot of unanswered questions as far as why does Monica all of a sudden hate Captain Marvel? Why is this happening with this?
It could be an overall thing because Hayward doesn't seem to like.
Yeah, what's his deal either? Like, what the hell's his deal? Like, what happened? I guess maybe we'll see what happened during
the 5-year span. Because let's face it,
why he hates, why he's so anti against Wanda just in general,
and
superheroes in general. Like, what the hell happened? That made him. Did he lose people? What the hell happened?
Exactly? I mean, everyone lost somebody.
Exactly,
but at the same time, you have to.
There's more to it.
Exactly, there's more to it because let's face it, that kind of stuff kind of happens and the Avengers are there. Why weren't they here? So I'm pretty sure a lot of people feel the same way Hayward does. Oh, we put our faith in these superheroes, but when we need them the most, they're done. And Monica even makes it don't use the past 5 years as an excuse to act like a dick. So there's a lot of stuff kind of going on in universe of what's happening. Because even Monica has some dysfunction with her. Why does she hate not hate, but why does she hold resentment towards Captain Marvel?
Yeah. You know how we're talking about how Harry wants to use Vision for a weapon? Mm-hmm. I think they're trying to use, maybe this is a theory. Maybe I'm just talking out my ass. Maybe they're just trying to remake Ultron.
Ooh.
With Vision's parts,
because there's a whole lot of Vision left because Ultron's still part of him.
Yeah.
Dude, I would love for Ultron to come back. There's so many ways for him to come back too.
Yeah.
He could have hid in the Quinjet until he got himself a body and taken over Sakaar, and then we have the world of Ultron. We can have Vision become Ultron, and we can have I forgot what the female Ultron was, but Tony Stark had a AI for that, and that AI could have gotten sentience and found out about Ultron and want to continue his plan. There's a lot of ways for them to come back, and I would love for him to, because Ultron has the potential to be the next Thanos, even though we now know confirmation that Kang the Conqueror is going to be the next real big bad. Because it makes sense, because they're going to the multiverse in different timelines, and Kang the Conqueror wants to keep the timeline in sync, and that's why he's like this.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different avenues we can go going forward, but what we do know is that what we have right now is pretty pretty on the nose of what's going on for the overall, Marvel universe so far. So thoughts on moving forward? Like, what could be the real big? Because we're gonna get we have 2 more episodes now. Is it 8 or is it 9 episodes?
Oh, 9.
So we got 3 more episodes left.
Yeah.
So the last episode is really gonna conclude everything, and we're gonna get the big cameo from Marvel.
Yeah.
Who that's gonna be, we don't know. But moving forward, like how are they gonna get back into the Hex?
Yeah.
So that's gonna be something.
Who does he have left?
Hayward's probably gonna go back to Sword and get more troops, because we only saw a small bit.
Yeah. And since it's technically, so the one that didn't escape, the ones that escaped were Wu and Monica, right?
Wu and Monica, and Hayward and whoever was driving him.
Yeah.
Or was he in a helicopter?
Thought he was driving.
I think so too. So they got away. Oh yeah, because the helicopter turned into a hot air balloon.
Yeah.
Now we have all this stuff going on, and what's Darcy gonna do? Because she was handcuffed to a truck, and poor Darcy. And they did that editing trick too, like they did in A Christmas Story, where she's about to cuss, like she just, and it just comes out different. So is she gonna have knowledge of the outside world, or what's gonna happen?
Right. She could pretty much be anything.
She could be a doctor.
She'll be the bearded lady.
She's gonna be the pediatrician. She's gonna be Tommy and Billy's pediatrician. So we're gonna, and it's so crazy. There's a lot of hints of everything that's kind of happening in world, right? Because we now have Wanda and Vision just being themselves, and Vision doesn't remember he's an Avenger when he woke up Agnes. He's like, "What's an Avenger?" And that's when she thinks she's dead, because obviously, like, oh well, if you don't know you're an Avenger, like, what's going on?
And the thing with Agnes too is because seeing how she was when Vision snapped her out of whatever was going on, I feel like she was playing the part. Like, oh, you're dead. Like, oh, trying to stir the pot.
Yeah, you're dead. Like, what's going on? So I think Agnes has more going on for her too, because this Hex is very, very mysterious. We don't know what's going on. It could have been that Wanda and her made Vision come back to life and using magic, right? Because Wanda's still kind of discovering her powers. Because before, Pietro mentions that you did some wavy things with your fingers and can get into people's heads.
Yeah, Agnes has to have some type of magic, but there's no way she could show up with all that shit that she keeps bringing around so quickly.
She was reaching for her amulet. So, some has speculated that holds Mephisto's spirit, right? So I don't know what's going on. If Mephisto's really gonna be like the problem, right? Because in the Loki series, we get pictures of Living Tribunal in the courtroom, right? So we're gonna start seeing a lot more cosmic and magical things going forward. Stop dying. You're not allowed to die on me just yet.
Anyways, but
you can't be a Vision. You can't be alive.
Be a zombie.
Be a zombie. Oh yeah, and we got zombie Pietro. That was creepy. And I think Peter is just gonna be like, he's negating every question and just kind of.
Yeah, he's avoiding a lot of
questions. He's avoiding a lot, and he's trying to play the part of like, yes, I am your brother. I know I look different, but I'm your brother. He's
like reverse psychologing her.
Yeah.
Basically, every question
she asks, he has another question.
And then she answers, and then never get an actual physical answer.
Exactly. So, like, I know I look different. Like, why do you look different? Look, man, all I know is I got shot in the street by some chump. Because she doesn't know how he died. Well, I mean, obviously she knows he died by gunshots, you know what I mean? But we don't know exactly how.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff kind of going on of what's about to happen with this. And if this is Evan, I think they're just using Evan Peters to kind of tease us about the X-Men. But at the end of the day, we're going to get Aaron Taylor Johnson back. And I love the Kick-Ass kind of reference. Kick-Ass. Where Aaron Taylor Johnson and Evan Peters were both the superheroes in the Kick-Ass movie.
Right. So it's a good little Easter egg.
So I don't know. Like, it's way up in the air. 3 episodes left. 3 more weeks. But we're gonna get episode 9, part 1 and 2. We're gonna get 10 episodes.
Stupid.
They're just gonna fuck with us.
I really hope that episode 9 is the longest one, though. It has to be.
Yeah, I mean, they extended the runtime just a little bit to kind of jump back and forth. So I think they're now doing like the Mandalorian.
I don't know why the credits are so long, though.
It's supposed to be like a movie.
I
guess, but you know what? They're kind of going the route of the Mandalorian, how the the runtime only extends to the plot.
Yeah. Right.
Slightly, not as much, but they are doing it stuff. And there's supposed to be an internet breaking cameo, like how Mark Hamill returned as Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian. That's what they keep teasing. So I want to know what that cameo is.
And who's it gonna be? And I swear I better live up to the hype.
You know what? I think it's just. I don't think it will be. I really don't, because you have to think about it like this: like Mark Hamill coming back with the face of Luke Skywalker, and because of how big of a franchise Star Wars is, that's why it broke the internet.
Yeah.
Because we all knew it was coming, we all had that hope, but when that happened, it was just perfect, right? Because does the MCU have that kind of star power, or have that kind of fan base to really have something? Yes, Marvel's been around for years on ends, but the MCU's only been here a little over 10 years. So who do they have that's really going to break the internet? They're not going to bring Falcon and the Winter Soldier there. That's not internet breaking.
It's fucking Tony Stark.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they can do something like that. Like fucking Tony's back for some odd reason, or young Captain America, which Chris Evans has been talked about coming back to the role of Captain America in some capacity. It could be old Steve Rogers, right? It could be, but we don't know.
Right.
So there's a lot like kind of happening in what that cameo is. I think, me personally, I think it's not going to be Doctor Strange because that's too predictable. It could be Michael Fassbender and the X-Men.
Or it could be the older X-Men.
It could be, exactly. We don't know. Ian McKellen coming back as Magneto saying, "Oh, hello, my daughter," and then they have Genosha randomly. Because it could be that Genosha is an actual thing, and that's where Magneto takes the mutants. Right, because the X-Men have been hiding for the most part, because the X-Mansion has been hidden from the world. So it could be that the X-Men have always been here, but it's just now becoming more of a presence because of Wanda, being a mutant. So there's a lot of stuff that could be adding to it.
For sure.
So I don't know, man. I think
so many possibilities they can go with this.
Yeah, and we're now getting the fact that Pietro isn't another Pietro. He's established either he is. Evan Peters is going to be the new Pietro regardless, or it's whoever's pulling the strings to just have another face and just has knowledge of everything. Because after Sokovia,
or it is Aaron Taylor Johnson, but it just has Evan Peters' face.
It could be. You know what I mean? It could be that, and maybe that's the internet breaking news. Like Aaron Taylor Johnson's coming back as Quicksilver. I think that would be pretty internet breaking news. Because everyone has been wanting him to come back. Because there's no way the speedster who has healing abilities, he got shot in the arm and then it healed, right? So how is it that he's not alive? And he's just been hiding out and just not wanting to be in the spotlight. Because of...
Which is so anti-Quicksilver.
Well, it's contracting issues, that's why they can use it.
I know, but
it is anti-Quicksilver.
It's so anti-Quicksilver, though.
And it's crazy that Evan Peters is trying to take over the fatherly role to the kids.
Yeah.
Like he's grown attachment to it, and he even makes sense. I'm doing my part, making trouble for the husband, giving you grief, and hanging out with and manipulating the young ones. Like that's what his job is. So there's a lot of stuff.
Maybe that's what he's here to do, and as far as tasks he was given to do by somebody.
Yeah.
To be a distraction.
Yeah, because the more Wanda gets distracted, the easier it is to manipulate her.
Exactly, and the more she slips.
That's I think at the end of the day, I know this is loosely based on House of M and how we should be getting mutants into this, and it's becoming more and more apparent like she has this power.
Yeah.
Because in the House of M she says no more mutants, and all the mutants are gone. So it could be like after she shifts everything for the last time in the last episode.
That's after though.
Yeah.
That's after though. Before House of M was when Magneto basically was the king of the fucking world.
Well, because Wanda made it that way.
Until after. So they're just taking the approach of just skipping the first part of the story and putting it in the second part.
But that's completely Marvel, though.
Yeah.
Infinity War was the Infinity Gauntlet storyline.
Yeah.
Age of Ultron was not the Age of Ultron story. It was just another Ultron story.
Yeah.
So, and then the only Marvel movies that are truly true to the source material are The Winter Soldier and the Civil War. Those are the only two that are kind of very comic book accurate. And even then, Civil War did a way better adaptation to the actual Civil War conflict.
Yeah.
Because you see that, like, I love Civil War as a comic book, but the reason why they were fighting was very stupid.
Yeah.
But in this, in the MCU, it makes it way more apparent. Should the Avengers be...
Well, I mean, the story of Civil War, the first Civil War is still better than Civil War 2.
Oh, dude, that is true. I did not like Civil War 2. That was a cash grab, 100%.
For real.
And Civil War 2 only came out after how popular the movie was. So we technically have 5 Avengers movies. Because Captain America, Civil War, that's Avengers 4. That really is. So, I mean, there's a lot of speculation in what's going to happen. I'm very excited to see what happens next. Only 3 more episodes and I can't wait.
I'm excited.
Excited.
I'm excited.
Well, do we have anything else to really talk about?
Not really. Just see what happens.
Yeah. I
Stay
think
tuned
so.
for more, pretty much.
Yeah, stay tuned for more. Let us know your thoughts. If you're watching us on YouTube, let us know in the comment section below. Who do you think is behind Westview? Is it Mephisto? Is it someone else? Is it Nightmare? Is it Doctor Strange? That would be weird, but, you know, is it Doctor Strange? Is it Spider-Man? Who knows?
Is it Sam Raimi himself?
Sam Raimi's fucking with us. That's what it is. We figured it out. Kudos to us. But let us know in the comment section below. If you're listening to us on Spotify, be sure to give us a like, share us as much as possible because, you know, we're just 2 guys sharing our opinions. But we like to know yours. To find me on Instagram and or Twitter, you're going to look under _hookahologist. To find this beautiful face on Facebook, you're going to look under Tommy Rodriguez. And for more podcasts, videos, and anything else, you're going to want to look under Facebook under the Hookahologist. And if you're a fan of the podcast, be sure to click the link in the description to be a supporter of the podcast for 99 cents a month. You too can help support our smoking habits and give me enough money so I can pay for these subscriptions so we can keep doing what we do here. Until next time, guys. Keep smoking.
Later, everybody.